Hello, welcome back. Let's move on to the next part of the project. In last lecture, I introduced how to publish a code. In this lecture, I would like to introduce the next piece of a project, how to write unit test code. Remember in the software engineer class, you guys learned the last step before you deliver a project. Usually you're supposed to test your code. And the first piece of a testing code is called unit test, which means we're gonna test each small piece of your code. Okay, what's the small piece? Actually, it's a function or the functions defined in a class. This is the architecture of your source code. It's exactly same as whatever you have in last lecture. The only thing different is the test. We created an actual folder called test because we're gonna write the test code inside the test folder. Remember last time we put all the source code inside the SRC folder, right? SRC stands for source. And this one actually is executable program, and the prime package actually is a package we would like to deliver. And everything else are very, very similar. Actually, they're same. So we need to make a little bit of change about the setup.py, this line of code. Because here we would like to use PyTest to test your code instead of using the default test module. Okay, everything else is exactly same as the previous code. The next piece is setup.cfg. Last time we created this empty file. Here, right now, please copy these two lines inside of your setup.cfg, which means once you type in test, which means you are trying to use PyTest. Okay, let's check the code here. This is the code here. Let's check here. Right now, there's nothing special. The only thing new is the test folder. Inside the test folder, check here. I already put some test code here. I will show you guys later about how to write the test code. Right now, let's go ahead test. Use the test code defined in the test folder to test your code. See, we're using Python setup.py test. Once we press enter, the Python setup tools will automatically to search all the test files inside your test folder and run all those test code to evaluate your code defined in the SRC folder. Okay, let's move on to the next piece. As a software developer, make sure before you upload your code, at least you need to run Python setup.py test on your local computer to make sure your code works. Then you can push your code to the GitHub repository for people to download, or you can upload the code to the PyPy repository so people can install it with pip install. Okay. As a user, once the developers upload their code to the repository, as a developer, suppose I would like to get the code from the GitHub. Make sure you can use GitHub clone. You can use git clone URL. Okay, this one is the URL of your code to fetch the code to your local computer. Then, before you install this code, make sure you run this line of code. Python setup.py test. Make sure this program works on your local computer. Once you do that, if this test code works, if this one passed all the code like I showed here, passed all the test files, okay, then you can go ahead and type in Python setup.py install to install these programs on your local computer. Why do we do the test here? The reason is as a user, your computer has a totally different environments with the developer's computer. Suppose you installed the different Python distribution, you installed the different modules, or your system have the different network limits, whatever. So that's the reason the code works on developer's computer doesn't mean it also works on your local computer. So that's the reason. Make sure we always run the setup.py test to test your code on the local computer, then install. Okay, that's it. Or you can use another option is called pip install. Just go ahead and install your code if you guarantee your code works. Okay. That's everything about the test code. The next piece is like I showed here. Inside the test folder, I have a couple of the test files. Make sure, be careful. All those files must start with test. You can give whatever names as the second part of the name, but make sure the first piece always test. Okay, once you create this file, let me introduce how to write unit test. There are many ways we can write unit test code. And the one I'm using actually is called unit test module defined in the standard Python distribution. Okay, I like this unit test module because even it's a little bit complicated than other unit test modules, but it's very flexible. I like it. So let's understand how to write unit test code with unit test module. Roughly, your code have the two pieces. The first piece, make sure you import the unit test module. Then you can install the package you would like to test. Inside this file, please make sure you define a class. You can give whatever class name. The name doesn't matter. However, you need to build this one from the unit test.test case. Okay, which means you're gonna build a new class from the parent. You guys learned this one from the Java, right? It's called inheritance. Inside this class, we're gonna define a couple of the functions. One function is called setup, which means before whatever code we're gonna run before we run the test function. And this function will be run after we run each test function. And this one, I put the test function here. Make sure here, each test function also starts with test. Then you can give whatever test function name, that's okay. But make sure you have the test as the first piece of your function name. Okay. This is a test code I put inside the test folder. Check here. Inside this test, this class, I defined the two test function. One is called test numbers. Okay. One is called test raises. Okay. I'm using the test numbers to test different values. Suppose here. For the first piece, okay, I would like to use self assert equal. This one is a function defined inside the is prime, actually defined in the unit test module. It will automatically to compare the value returned from the function and the function you would like to have. So we know 2 is the prime, right? This function will return true. So true equals to true. This function will be good. In case your code have something wrong, not return the reasonable results, okay, this function will raise errors. So from your user perspective, you can say this test function does not pass. Okay, I tested a couple of the numbers here. Okay, this one is another one number I defined inside here. Look at here. For each test class, these two are not mandatory. This two is optional. If you don't start any actual information before you run the test, I'm saying if each test function actually is independent, you don't need any dependencies. Okay, these two functions are optional. This one, I'm using the test raises function to test the raise the exceptions from this function. Remember, in the project 3, individual project 3, I asked you guys to put some exceptions. Make sure your isPrime function can raise some errors, raise some exceptions. It's here. We're gonna test if your function can raise those exceptions I put here. Suppose if you give 0 to this isPrime, it's supposed to raise the value error, right? Okay. If your function can raise the value error, that's good. If something happened, your function doesn't raise anything, okay, probably your test code will report some errors to your terminal. At the end, you can copy this code to the end of your code. That's it. That's the one thing we would like to have. Second piece actually is most of the time, your test can be more complicated. Suppose here in this code, I created the two classes here. One is the test prime, and something else I tested something else, which means I created the two classes here, and I can use some way. Suppose I use this function to test this function, and save it to a variable, and use the same function to test a different class. Okay, then save the test into a different variable. At the end, we put these two tests into a list. So which means once we run this test code, these two classes will be tested one by one. Okay, make sure you put this line of code at the end. Okay, that's it. Let's check the code. So I give you guys the two sample code. One is called test isPrime. One is the test underscore switch. And if you guys would like to have the source code of this project, you can scroll up. Actually, I give you guys the source code here. This is the sample code I wrote, but it's not that perfect, but roughly that works. Okay, so I would like you guys to have the code like this one. Let's go back to the next piece. This is how do we use the unit test to write the unit test code. Actually, in Python, there are many modules we can write unit test code. Like suppose we can use a assert function. Assert function is a function defined inside the standard library. You can use this one to write the unit test code, or you can use nodes. Nodes actually is another module designed in Python. You can use it to write the unit test code. And plus, you also can write the doc test. Doc test is a very interesting unit test style, which means if you put this sample code inside your doc string, and here is the value supposed to be returned from this function. Once you use the doc test to test your code, they're gonna automatically to check your doc string, compare the value from this function and this value to see if they are same. Okay. Actually, that's everything I would like to cover for the unit test. About the unit test, if you would, I only introduced some function. One function is called like a short assert equal, right? I covered here assert equal. Actually, inside this unit test document, there are many functions defined. Let's check here. Let's scroll down. See here. Check here. There are many functions defined, and they are pretty cool. And those functions make the test more flexible. You can see here. And this one is to check how to test assert resist, and this is to test something else. Okay. If you guys would like to learn more, you can read through these examples. Actually, this is from the standard document. Okay, let us stop here. Thank you.